What's quietly shrinking the most powerful submarine fleet on Earth? It isn't a rival navy. It isn't a lost engagement. It's arithmetic. Somewhere in the US Navy, roughly every few months, another submarine gets decommissioned. Not because it lost a fight, but because it simply ran out of service life all at once, across dozens of boats built decades ago. And here's the fun fact that makes this whole story make sense. The reason so many are retiring together is the exact same reason America once had the most dominant submarine fleet in history. They were all built together too. The boats meant to replace them are arriving so slowly that the math genuinely doesn't work anymore. This is the story of how building too many submarines, too fast, decades ago, quietly set up one of the US Navy's biggest problems today. Start with why there were so many of these boats in the first place. Between 1976 and 1996, at the height of the Cold War, the US Navy commissioned 62 Los Angeles-class nuclear-powered attack submarines, an enormous, sustained production run, boat after boat, for 2 straight decades, without a real pause. Their mission was clear and unglamorous: track Soviet submarines wherever they went, protect carrier strike groups from underwater threats, gather intelligence in places surface ships couldn't safely operate, and if it ever came to it, destroy enemy ships and submarines directly. This wasn't a fleet built for one campaign or one crisis. It was built as a standing, decades-long deterrent, and it worked exactly as intended. When the Cold War ended in the early 1990s, these boats didn't retire along with the conflict that produced them. They simply became the backbone of the entire US submarine force for another 3 decades, doing exactly the job they were originally built for, long after the enemy they were designed to track had changed shape entirely. Here's the problem hiding inside that success story. Building 62 submarines in 20 years means 62 submarines were also going to age out in a similarly compressed window, decades later. Nuclear submarines have finite hull lives, limited by reactor cores and structural fatigue, and that window has now arrived, right on schedule. By the start of fiscal year 2026, 42 of those original 62 Los Angeles-class boats had already been retired, leaving only around 20 still in service. This isn't abstract or projected, it's already happening, boat by boat. USS Newport News has already been decommissioned. USS Alexandria is next in line to leave service. USS Boise is being retired too, after a planned overhaul on the boat was abandoned as no longer worth completing, essentially writing off a submarine that still had years of potential service left in it, on paper. The Navy's entire attack submarine fleet, every class combined, now stands at somewhere around 47 to 49 boats. Navy planning documents reportedly call for 66. The submarine designed to solve this problem already exists, and has for decades. It's called the Virginia-class attack submarine, and the Navy has been procuring it since 1998, specifically as the Los Angeles-class's designated successor. This isn't a last-minute scramble. It's a program that's been running in parallel for over 25 years. The plan, formalized around 2011, was straightforward on paper. Build 2 of these boats every single year, indefinitely, so the fleet would refresh itself roughly as fast as the old boats aged out of service. At that pace, priced around $4 to $5 billion per submarine, the math actually worked cleanly. The Los Angeles-class retirement wave wouldn't have been a crisis at all. Since 2022, the real Virginia-class production rate has been running around 1.1 a year, roughly half of what the plan called for. The reported causes stack up fast: shipyard workforce shortages, material and supplier delays, first-time quality problems on the production line, and specific complications tied to a newer, longer variant of the submarine. And here's the part that makes this genuinely hard to fix quickly. Only 2 shipyards in the entire United States are even certified to build nuclear-powered submarines at all: General Dynamics Electric Boat and Newport News Shipbuilding. And Virginia-class isn't even the only thing competing for those 2 shipyards. The Navy's Columbia-class submarine, a completely different type of boat, built to carry nuclear ballistic missiles as part of the country's strategic deterrent, shares the exact same yards, the exact same specialized nuclear-certified workforce, and many of the same suppliers. The Navy has designated Columbia-class a strategic priority, which means when the 2 programs compete for the same limited welders, engineers, and factory floor space, Virginia-class reportedly tends to lose that fight again and again whenever a real conflict over resources comes up. On top of that, the U.S. has separately committed, under the AUKUS partnership with the United Kingdom and Australia, to eventually sell Australia 3 to 5 Virginia-class submarines starting in 2032, adding yet another buyer to a production line that's already falling short of meeting its own country's needs before Australia's order is even factored in. Navy officials have stated plainly that the industrial base actually needs to build about 2.33 boats a year to satisfy both commitments simultaneously. On May 30th, 2026, the 3 governments involved quietly revised that plan. Australia's first delivered submarines will now come from the existing U.S. fleet instead, pulled directly from boats already in active service, because the new-build submarines meant to fill that order simply don't exist yet and won't in time to matter. Congress has already responded with real money, a reported $1.9 billion emergency addition in the 2026 Appropriations Act, specifically added to prevent a stop work order from halting the program entirely. The spending is happening, and it's substantial. The physical capacity to actually build faster still isn't there yet.